scheduled to start the game in a couple of minutes. Welcome to all of you that have chosen to join me today. I hope I have a good quiz for you prepared. I have 10 questions today, 10 questions about the United States culture, and things related to the United States and so on. Test people's knowledge and maybe even teach some of us a few things. I'll probably learn some things myself. Although I've read through the questions, I didn't give them deep consideration actually, so I may learn something as we go along here actually. We'll see how it works. Anyway, as has been the case for my last few quizzes, I now award a certain certificate of recognition to the person who has the highest point total at the end of the game, right? So you can see the certificate of recognition there. The winner's name will be inserted. The today's date will replace the date down at the bottom to indicate that you have indeed won today's USA Peace Game quiz. I will put this certificate in the form of a PDF file that I can email to you. I have, there goes the train. I never seem to prepare this quite sufficiently. Let's see. Let me grab this here and let's see. Get all set up here. Where's my Google form? I have a form that you can find it in my under my profile here, but I will add a link to it here also to make it easy for us. Copy that. Okay. All right. And then back to wherever we are. Here we are. Okay. Let's see. Come back to the comments here. Okay, here. Oh, hello from Colombia. Oh, Takara. Ready? No one is here yet. Our treasure is here. What else is important, right? Yeah, it looks like you may have an advantage here. It's just after 11 o'clock. We'll see how things go. I'll stutter and stammer for a few more minutes to see if other people join us here. I'm trying to add a link, to post a link in the comments. Let's see what happens if I do that. Now, please wait for the link preview to load. Okay, well, I am waiting for the, oh, there it is. Okay. It's not much of a preview. It just says forms.gle, but I guess that's good enough. Okay. So as I said, I have 10, the base of quiz of 10 questions, plus a couple of tiebreakers, bonus questions if those are necessary. But we'll see who among the players today can get the highest number of points in our USA Peace Game quiz. As I've mentioned several times, the USA Peace Game is an actual board game. It's basically an educational board game used to teach about the United States. It contains cards where the questions are written both in English and Japanese. Although I speak Japanese pretty well, my reading and writing ability is still not up to par. So I will refrain from using the Japanese. Even if we do happen to have some Japanese game participants who appear, that would be nice. I can try to read the Japanese if someone requests it, but basically we'll stick to English. It is about America after all. All right. Well, let's see how we're doing here. Uh, I see 31 people have viewed this broadcast in some form or other. But so far, our treasurer Takara is the only one who has spoken up to let me know that she's currently active on HAPS. It is possible to participate in the quiz from other platforms, I guess. The questions I read and your comments, if you type in comments, those appear here. Um, I don't think you are able to see the comments, either those that you write or that other people write, but I can read out your answers and let you know if you found the right answer or not. If you do care to participate, that would be great. Okay, well, I've been rattling off here about various small details of this and that for about 4 minutes now. I think it's about time to get started. Um, I do hope that there are other people out there to give Takara a run for her money. She's a strong player. Maybe she's intimidating the other players. Um, with Takara here, they feel they don't stand a chance. Everyone has a chance. Please feel free to. I am streaming. Yeah, I made a Twitch account just to check it out. I don't know any except that it's mostly used by gamers, it seems. You can make a free Twitch account, so I did. Um, I also stream to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but I think Instagram only puts announcements up or links to this. I don't think the actual videos. I don't know. I don't really use Instagram very much. I used to post photographs there sometimes, but I'm not a big Instagrammer. I'm not a big tweeter either. I don't use Twitter very much. Um, Although it's a little interesting, and I have found some interesting things on there. It's such a fast format, um, and we've seen examples where our national leaders have used Twitter, possibly to uh, detrimental effects. But anyway, so Twitter. Maybe I should get my microphone down here a little bit farther. There, that should be a little bit clearer, hopefully. Maybe reduce the echo a little bit now that I've got my microphone a little closer to my mouth. All right, well, all things being considered, at 6 minutes after 11 o'clock, I believe it's time to get started, right? It is clear. Good. Glad to hear it. Okay. Yeah, my office, it's a nice big office. I'll have to make a tour of my office sometime. But my office is nice and big, but that spaciousness, I think, tends to exacerbate the problem of the hollow, echoey sound that my voice can have. Um, a smaller room. There's no carpet on the floor. There's very little on the walls, so I'm sure that it has kind of a hollow. I've noticed it has a kind of a hollow sound. It's a little better when the microphone is closer, but I'll do what I can. Perhaps I'll get inspired someday and put a sound absorbing foam on the walls to try and reduce. Do you want to save the questions you're going to ask for a different time? Oh, hello, let it be. Yes, there we go. Yes, there we go. Right, let it be is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, excellent. Yeah, no, I even if it was only you, Takara, I would continue the quiz. You're the one that shows up. I think you deserve it. But now you have stiff competition in Let It Be. You're both former champions. You didn't get a notification. I'm sorry that I did put up did schedule this a couple of days ago. I think just after the last quiz that we did. So I'm sorry you didn't get that notification. Happens to you sometimes. Okay, well, as we know, HAPS is still more or less in beta testing. I mean, it's pretty stable, and it's an amazing platform, and it's doing a lot, but not perfect yet, right? But then again, what is? Okay. All right. So usually when you go live, you get pinged. Okay. Yeah, that's right. The that activity notice or whatever they call it usually comes up with people that you're following. Yeah, I don't know why that might not have happened. Um, I hope it's not something I'm doing. Let's blame it on HAPS. Just another glitch. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with the first question. Okay. All right. Question number 1. In what territory is San Juan National Historic Site and La Fortaleza, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, located? So in what territory? In what territory is San Juan National Historic Site located? Okay. I'm thinking you might be able to guess that. Remember, this is the USA quiz. New Mexico. No, not New Mexico. Yeah, San Juan. That's an excellent guess, right? Sounds like New Mexico would be there. Let me give you the choices now. We're talking about territories, okay? Guam, American Samoa, Puerto Rico. Okay, so now what do you think? Yes, it was a good guess. Oh, Texas. Texas is another good guess. Yeah. Puerto Rico. That's right. Puerto Rico. Okay, so Takara on the board first. Let It Be came in with the correct answer, but Takara, it appeared first from Takara on my screen. Again, as we know, lag can be a factor in this type of game. So I don't know who actually typed the correct answer in first, but the first one to appear on my screen was Takara with Puerto Rico. Yes, Puerto Rico, the San Juan National Historic Site, and La Fortaleza. La Fortaleza. Okay. All right. So she was first. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Takara off to a good start with the first point of the game. Let It Be came in with the right answer, just a little behind Takara. Okay. Moving right along to question number 2. Another UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay. Where is it located? In what state? Okay, so we're looking for the name of a state now. In what state is Yosemite National Park? Okay. In what state is Yosemite National Park? State and territory, they're both protectorates are under the umbrella. California. California is the right answer, of course. Yes, that's right. So Let It Be has tied it up. Let It Be has tied it up with her first point of the game. So Takara with the first answer, but Let It Be ties it up with the second question with the correct answer. Yosemite National Park is in California. Yeah. Territory and state. I hear about territory and state. There was a resolution in Puerto Rico howdy, yeah, yeah. One of my colleagues just came in. Yeah. There was a resolution proposed in Puerto Rico a few years ago, I think it was, rather asking Puerto Rico if they wanted to apply for statehood. So there are some differences between a territory and a state. And then there are things like Commonwealth. I think some New England, the Commonwealth of Rhode Island or something like that. I'm not sure. The Commonwealth of Maryland. I can't remember. But there are commonwealths also. Is DC considered a territory? It's a district. The District of Columbia. Is it a territory? Depends on who you ask. If you ask me, yeah, it's a territory. I don't know. Let's see if we could find find that information. Okay, what is the difference between territory, state, and district? Political divisions of the United States. That sounds like a place that you might find the answer. Let's see, what does it say? Let's see. First, let's see, states, the U.S. are organized presidential systems, governors both the head and various states are typically divided into counties. Okay. All state governments are modeled after the federal government. Okay, but states and territories, political division administrated by, okay, District of Columbia. A separate federal district, the District of Columbia is under the direct authority of Congress, was formed by the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1801. No, they were organic back in 1801. I have a feeling it's not the current common use of organic, right? But that's okay. Let's see. So yeah, district is a type of political division within the United States. So there are districts, and then insular areas and territories of the United States. The insular areas of the United States are those U.S. territories that are neither part of one of the 50 states nor the federal district. They're classified by whether they are incorporated, part of the United States proper, and whether they have an organized government through an organic act passed by the U.S. Congress. Well, everything's organic now. Insular areas are administered by the Department of the Interior's Office of Insular Affairs. Let's see. 31 of the current 50 states are organized incorporated territories or part of one before their admission into the Union. Currently, 5 territories are self-governing: American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, United States Virgin Islands. There's been a single incorporated territory, formerly Palmyra Atoll, formerly part of the Hawaii Territory. Then there's Baker Island, Howland. So, and then American reservations. So there are reservations which are also. So I'm sorry. Still says distance from Maryland or Virginia, but I thought maybe it was actually within one of those states. The District of Columbia. What I can vaguely remember from my history class or the government class that I took in junior high school or wherever, when they set up the United States at the beginning, when there were just the 13 original colonies that became the first 13 states, they made the District of Columbia a separate entity, a separate district, so that no state could claim to be the home of the capital, and so have that kind of advantage or influence on the federal government. So they purposefully made it a separate district that's not technically in. I think they took part of Maryland and Delaware. Was it parts of Maryland and Delaware? Okay. Anyway, so like I said, this is an educational quiz here. Getting back to the quiz, we have a tie game going so far. Our top 2 competitors so far have been Takara with 1 point and Let It Be also with 1 point. Okay, let's go on to question number 3. What city, okay, looking for the name of a city, what city is comprised, what city is comprised, there we go, I'm an English teacher, I just can't read. What city is comprised of 5 boroughs? The Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. Okay. What city is comprised of 5 boroughs? New York. That's right. Takata, New York, right off the bat. Yes. Yeah. Even a small town boy from Iowa knows that. Yeah. The Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. Yeah. Very, very famous. New York. Yes. Let It Be came in with the correct answer. A little bit behind Takata. So Takata pulls ahead with 2 points. Let It Be still with 1. Looking for other people to join in. Don't be shy. There's still, what do we have? We still have 7 questions left. It's anybody's game. Okay, so that was a fairly easy question. Again, we'll blame it on the lag. We'll blame it on the lag. That's right. Okay. Let's go on to, speaking of New York, I have actually been to New York. Traveled, so I visited the Empire State Building. I visited Liberty Island, saw the Queen of Liberty and so on. The Queen of Liberty, the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. The museums are great in New York. That's what I clearly remember. I could have spent. I only spent, I think, 4 days there, and I could have spent 10 times that long just in the museums alone, but such was not the case. All right, let's go on. Question number 4. Got a good tight game going here. What street? So what did you say? Those are called 5 what within the city of New York? Boroughs. Boroughs. The borough. The boroughs, right? Okay, yeah, it's again, unless you've got a city as large as New York, so Tokyo has the same kind of divisions within that city. When you have populations that large, I guess you need to find ways to divide it up, right? Okay, yeah. All right, so that's New York. We're going to stick with New York for question number 4. The New York theme. In fact, question 4 and 5 are both sticking with the New York theme. Question number 4. What street, okay, we're looking for the name of a street in New York City, is famous for upscale shopping? Okay, so New York City. What pops to mind if you think of shopping? Which street? Which street in New York City is famous for 54th Street? 54th Street? Yeah, I know 54th Street. That's not the answer. Park Avenue. Park Avenue is not the answer that I have. Park Avenue. In fact, there's a shop in Kumamoto that has this street name. Isn't it an S? Okay, let me give you the choices. Is it Wall Street, Madison Avenue, Broadway, or Fifth Avenue? Okay, I'll give you 4 choices. Wall Street, Madison Avenue, Fifth Avenue. That's right. Fifth Avenue. Yeah, in fact, we so with 3 Madison. Yeah, no, not Madison. Not Madison. It was Fifth. We have a little shop in town in Kumamoto known as Fifth Avenue. So yeah, that again, I don't know much about New York City, but I have heard that. I'm not sure that I could come up with that answer on my own. But when I hear the answer, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. So Takata has asserted herself in the game here, now with a lead over Let It Be, 3-1, right? Takata has 3 points. 3 out of the first 4 questions were answered correctly, and first by Takara. I don't know why I was thinking an S, maybe a shop on that road, Fifth Avenue. What was I thinking of? But there's something else I'm missing too. I can't remember. Oh well, yeah. S. I mean, there are famous shops. Aren't the famous shops? Isn't Gimbals and Macy's? Are they on Fifth Avenue? I don't even know. Saks, yes, Saks Fifth Avenue. Oh yeah, that's right. Saks Fifth Avenue. Right. Yeah. In fact, I think that's a shop. Yeah. Obviously, that is a shop that is not only, maybe the first was on Fifth Avenue in New York, but now I think that's a worldwide chain of high fashion shops. Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. So again, Takara with 3 points. Let it be with 1. As we move on to our next question, again about New York. This is maybe a little more difficult. I don't know if I should make it more difficult. I hope it's not too difficult. We've been challenged by these New York questions already, but here's the question. For what industry is Madison Avenue in New York City famous? For what industry is Madison Avenue? Madison Avenue, right? The hint I'll give you is that it's not the fashion industry. It's not the fashion industry. Garment fashion. No, Madison Avenue is not the garment industry. It's not the garment industry. Acting. No, that would be more Broadway, right? That would be Broadway. Let's see. Insurance. No, it's not insurance. Advertising. There we go. Advertising. Stephen comes in. The Canuck has the answer. Yes, Stephen. You're not too late to make a comeback here. Advertising. Yes, Madison Avenue in New York. That's advertising, right? Advertising. Maybe it's the root of all evil. I don't know. Advertising seems, when we think about the concerns that we have with some of the platforms that we use, the YouTube and Facebook and things like that, one of the things that we dislike about them is the way they sell our information to advertisers to try and target us better. This is the show Mad Men. Okay, all right. I haven't watched enough American television in the last 30 years to really be aware. I know the show, I've heard of the show Mad Men, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen an episode. Believe it or not, yeah. I did catch a few episodes of Game of Thrones. That was such a worldwide sensation that I managed to watch some of that. I made it through the first 4 seasons and then kind of gave up. Didn't really hook me the way it did many people, but that's just me. All right, so Stephen has come into the game strong. Takara still has the lead with 3 points. Let it be, and Stephen are now tied with 1 point each. Let it be. Yeah, never saw Mad Men. Yeah, never saw Mad Men. Yeah. I heard it's supposed to have been a good show, I guess. But then again, I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently about it, so I won't. All right. So now that we've got 3 active players here, let's see how the second half. So that's the first half. Takara again with 3 points. Let it be with 1. Stephen also with 1 point. Moving on to question number 6. What is the time zone between Pacific Standard Time and Central Standard Time? What is the time zone? So we're looking for the name of the time zone between Pacific and Central. Mountain, that's right. Takara comes in. She's not intimidated by Stephen's prowess here. She's taking back command of this game, right? Mountain is what appears between Pacific and Central. That's right. So Pacific Standard Time Mountain Standard Time and Central, or going the other way, Central, Mountain, and Pacific, right? Very good. Okay, so 4 points. Takara has expanded on her lead. She has 4 points now. Let It Be still has 1, and Steven still has 1. Okay. All right. Continuing with the time zones. Quick question here. Get ready. How many time zones does the United States have? How many time zones does the United States have? 4. Have about a 10-second lag. Well, I'm sorry about that. I really am. 4, 5. I'm still waiting for the right answer. I'm sorry. It's not 4. It's not 5. How many? Remember, we're not talking about the contiguous 48. We're talking about the entire 6. That is right. That is right. There are 6 time zones. That's right. There are 6 time zones when you take into consideration Hawaii, Alaska, all the way into the east and so on. Yeah. What are the others? Well, let's see then. So there's Eastern and Central and Mountain, Pacific, and then Hawaii and yeah, I don't know. Let's say time zones. What does it tell us here? Let's see. You guys found the answers yet? Time zones. So that's not. It doesn't have anything to do with time zones. Time zones map America. Maybe that would do it. You guys find the answer already? Hawaii and no. Okay. Time zone in the U.S. Well, this is a terrible search engine that I found here. Time zone in the U.S. Time and date. Feel like there's an extra all the way east. So is there? Let's see what we've got here. Oh, so okay, no, it's Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific. Okay, and then Alaskan time zone and Hawaiian time zone is the way is what I find here. Yeah. Didn't know about that, but that's what this particular web page says. Try and share that with you guys. There's a link to what I found. You can take a look at that. Anyway, yeah. So there are 6. There are 6. Yeah, the 4 that are familiar, most familiar to us: Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific. But then there's also Alaska and Hawaii. When I was in Alaska, it was the same as the West Coast, Anchorage, anyway. Yeah, I mean, remember, Alaska is the largest state. Perhaps it extends over 2 time zones, which kind of makes sense. Interesting. So, yeah, Pacific time zone, Mountain time zone, Central. So let's see. Right now it's 11:32 in the morning, so I guess it's 9:32 p.m. Central Time, 8:32 p.m. Mountain Time, 7:32 p.m. Pacific Time, 6:32 p.m. Alaska Time, and 4:32, now 4:33 p.m. Hawaii Time. So there we go. All right, what an education. Okay. Yeah, it is interesting. I didn't look all this up beforehand. Maybe I should have, be a little better prepared. But anyway, but Takara is still the leader here in this quiz. We can. It's still a chance to make it up though. But Takara has a commanding lead with 5 points. Let it be, and Stevens still have one each. Okay. All right. I'm glad. Yeah, it's okay. This is part of the fun. Okay. Good. 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 Glad you like it. Alexa says it's an hour earlier. I'm confused again. An hour earlier. Okay, I'm confused again. What's an hour earlier than what? Yeah, I don't know. Time zone. Yeah, so an hour earlier. So earlier. I mean, yeah. So 6:30 p.m. or 6:30 would be earlier than 7:30. So if it's 7:30 p.m. in California, it's 6:30 p.m. in Alaska time. So it's earlier. Is that what that means? I guess. In Anchorage. Okay. So maybe there is only one time zone for all of Alaska. I don't know. I've never been to Alaska. One of the many places I've never been. Oh, if you start to make a list, it's going to be a long list of places I have not been. But anyway, we're learning all about these places, whether we've been there or not. Let's go on to question number 8. Question number 8. What begins on the first Sunday in April and ends on the last Sunday in October? Who can type this in quickest? I'm sure you're familiar with this. What begins on the first Sunday in April and ends on the last Sunday? Daylight savings time, that's right. But that's not true, is it? This is a bad question. I'm going to give you credit for that because that is the answer, daylight savings time. But didn't you just enter daylight savings time? And according to my calendar here in Japan, it's still March. So the first Sunday in April is not accurate. I mean, I remember spring forward and fall back. So in the spring, you move the clocks forward. Except, yeah, you did it last weekend, right? So, just happened, and yet you had no idea because again, this was a badly formed question. I copied the question from the card, from the Japan, or sorry, the USA Peace Game question cards. But that's a bad question because it doesn't fit what is the current situation. Maybe it's outdated. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because that was a bad question, I'm going to give Let It Be the point that she deserves. I'm going to add one more because that was a bad question, but I'm not going to take the point away, obviously, because Let It Be came up with the correct answer. But I'm going to add one more question to the end of the quiz to be kind of fair so that we have 10 accurate questions and one other question. All right. So anyway, that's the way we'll handle that. Okay. So next is question number 9 out of the total of 11 scheduled questions now. Instead of 10, we're going to 11. Okay. Question number 9. We're back to New York City. On what street is the New York Stock Exchange located? Okay, who can type it in quickest? On what street is the New York Stock Exchange? Wall Street, Takara, yes, Wall Street. Yes, you know you're in New York City now, yeah. We're all going to be familiar. So let's see, what did we learn? So fashion was on Fifth Avenue and advertising was Madison Avenue. And now we learned that the stock exchange is on Wall Street, right? Okay, so we're learning all about New York City. Takara is commanding this game. She now has 6 points. 6 points for Takara so far. And that was the 9th question out of 11. So it looks pretty unsurmountable. Takara with 6 points, Let It Be with 2, and Stephen with 1. What happened to our Canuck, our American expert? Hang in there, everybody. Let's see how close of a game we can make this. I don't think I remember if you wouldn't have given it that. It was an example earlier. Okay. Well, glad I could help. All right. Question number 10. Remember, we've also got question 11 for the bonus. Hello from Moreno Valley. Okay, Share is here. Oh, Share. Oh, you've missed the better part of a good game here. If you people have time, maybe we'll do a second USA Peace Game quiz after this. I'm not going to extend this one beyond the one bonus question because of the bad question we had previously. But if you people want to play longer, I can come up with 10 more questions for another quiz. We can have 2 quizzes today. Oh, Abyss is here. Okay, great. Excellent. So we've got Share and Abyss. We've got quite a quorum of players here now. As I said, though, we're on the 10th out of 11 questions in this first game. With this number of players, though, I'm very motivated to have a second USA Peace Game quiz right after this one concludes. So here is the 10th out of a total of 11. Here's the 10th question for our first USA Peace Game quiz today. For this, it's the name of a person. You're going to have to give me at least the last name, the family name, the last name. You can give me the full name if you like, but you need to at least give me the last name. Okay? Question is, what famous figure from American history, what famous figure from American history is on the $100 bill? $100 bill. Who's on the $100 bill? Okay. Oh, come on, you people. You can type faster than that. Everybody knows this. I mean, I haven't seen one of these in years and years and years. Alexander Hamilton. No, not Alexander Hamilton. Jefferson. No, not Jefferson. Okay, come on. This is a name that you Franklin. There it is. Franklin, right. The Benjamins. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton's on the 10. Hamilton's on the 10 and Jefferson's on the 20. Is that right? I thought it was the other way around. I can't remember. I don't know. But Franklin, who I think is, except for the Susan B. Anthony thing that they did a while back, I think Franklin for years was the only non-president to be on American currency, on the paper currency. But anyway, the correct answer is Franklin, right? The correct answer is Franklin. So Let It Be gets that answer, right? Let It Be gets the answer, brings her up to 3 points. Okay. Benjamin, yes, Benjamin Franklin, Ben Franklin, Abyss came in with the right answer also. But I've got to give it to Let It Be. I said that I would accept just the last name, not only the first name, but I would accept the last name. And that's what you came up with. All right, good. It's all about the Benjamins. Yeah, it was, I can't remember. It was a Bruce Willis movie. I remember the kid was talking about, that's where my father keeps his Benjamins. And, that stuck with me, that line in a Bruce Willis movie, where some young people broke into a home, kind of a home invasion thing, and the kids were still at home, the parents were out, and the kids were at home. Anyway, that's not important. Go for this last question in the first game here. Takara has already assured herself a victory. Let It Be is clearly in second place. So Takara with 6 points has won the game. Let It Be with 3 and Stephen with 1. Other people are here. You can still get on the board. Okay, don't let Takara dominate completely? All right. Or will she? That's the question. Question. In 1888, oh, that's a heck of a year. 1888, George Eastman invented a simple box camera that allowed amateurs to take photographs. What was the name of the photo company he later established? So George Eastman invented the box camera. What photo company did he later establish? Polaroid. No, it's not Polaroid. It's not Polaroid. Kodak. That's right. Share. Share comes up with the right answer. Yes, Share. Oh, just to make sure, she typed it in twice. Kodak. That's right. Kodak is the name of the company, right? And I can remember, yeah, now you only hear Kodak, but it used to be Eastman Kodak. I remember that. The Eastman Kodak Company or something like that, right? But now you only hear Kodak, which is fine. But anyway, the point is Share got on the board. Yeah, now Eastman has a wonderful music school. Oh, see, we learn all kinds of things here. We go far beyond the scope of these questions and learn just all kinds of interesting things. Eastman has a wonderful music school. Interesting. To me, that's very, very interesting. Okay. But another thing that's interesting, yeah, is Share doubled up on the answer Kodak and was right, and Let It Be came in with the right answer also, but Share got the point. But the major announcement now is Takara, as I said before, Takara has won our first game of the day. Takara is the winner of the U.S.A. Peace Game Quiz today. Our first one. We have enough players here. Thank you, Lynn Henry. Thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. In Rochester, New York, it's a school of opera. Wow. Opera. Interesting. So cameras and opera. Not a direct connection that I see, but hey, why not? Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so Takara, I do have your information. You don't need to contact me because I can send to the email address that you have provided to me before, unless there's a problem with that address and you need to change, of course, you can contact me through that form. Otherwise, I'll personalize your new certificate and send that on to you later on today. All right, so yeah, it was a good game. It really was a good game. We're going to, as I said, we've got some active players here now. We've got at least two people that have come in a little bit late for the first game. So we're going to offer you a second U.S.A. Peace Game quiz today. Okay, this will also be awarded with a certificate to the winner. Okay, so Abyss, Share, Takara, Let It Be, and Stephen, if you're still around, do your best. We've got another 10 questions. Be the same format. We've got 10 questions. I have prepared 10 questions, and there's even a bonus question in the event of, oh yes, and Lynn, sorry. Yes, Lynn, my new subscriber. How can I forget? Yes, Lynn Henry. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Takara, for reminding me. Okay, so 10 new questions. Okay, 10 new questions. Got to pop out. Good luck, everybody. Let It Be. Oh, we'll miss you. We'll miss you. Takara's probably grateful. You were her stiffest competition in our game, our first game today. But thank you for playing, and we'll see you again in the future, I hope. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay. Yes, it's always good. It's always good. Makes a good game when she's here. Yes. Yeah, so we'll miss you. We'll be thinking of you. All right. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how many people are here. Again, 49 people at this point. It seems that 49 people have, through one way or another have viewed parts of this game anyway, parts of this broadcast. Yes, good night, let it be. Good night. Okay. Don't know how many people are active now, but we've at least got a few players ready for the next phase of the game. All right. So, again, as I said, the winner of this second game today will also be awarded with a certificate of recognition with your name, today's date, and my name at the bottom, recognizing your accomplishment. Takara has already achieved one today. Can she make it a doubleheader? We'll see. Can she win both? All right. Let's go to the arts here. Okay. This is one probably won't need the hints, the choices. Okay. Question number 1. Who produced and directed Star Wars and American Graffiti? Who produced and directed Star Wars and American Graffiti? Spielberg. No, it was not Spielberg. George Lucas. That's right. Abyss comes up with the first correct answer. Yes, Spielberg. I mean, that's when you talk about produce and direct Spielberg, that's the first name that comes to my mind. And Star Wars, American Graffiti, seems like it should have been Spielberg, right? But yeah, it was George Lucas. Yeah, American Graffiti. That who also starred wasn't Harrison Ford in American Graffiti, and isn't that where he got the connection later with George Lucas and landed the role of Han Solo? I think so. Yeah, you might have got that with choices. Yeah. But that one there, it only supplied me with 2 choices actually: George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Who else would I put in there? Ron Howard? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know all that many producers and directors anymore. At least not that you would guess might have done Star Wars and American Graffiti. But the important point is that Abyss is off to an outstanding start with the first point of the game. Okay, all right. So I'm sure Takara is nervous now. She's feeling threatened. You got a challenge before you here. I thought it was from the Indiana Jones when Tom Selleck rejected the role. Oh, it could be. Again, that's part of movie history that I'm no expert on, so I won't. I probably spoke out of turn to even offer that other theory. I thought. I mean, I know that George Lucas did American Graffiti. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Here we go. Let's go on. Stumble along to the second question of the second game. What theater? Okay, so we're looking for the name of a theater. Has become the first permanent home for the Academy Awards since 2002. And Star Wars. Kodak. Abyss. Strong performance in the second game here. Oh, Takara, maybe you were lucky that Abyss wasn't here for the first game. Definitely a strong performance. Yes, Kodak. Yes, I did have choices. Yeah, Kodak again. Yeah, the Kodak Theater. The choices I were going to offer you were the Apollo Theater, the Fox Theater, and the Kodak Theater. And of course, Abyss has told us the correct answer is the Kodak Theater. Yes, that Kodak, right? Yes. Yes, I was. I know this is very smart. Yes, definitely. And proving it question after question as we continue here in our second game of the day. You're demonstrating your knowledge here. You're demonstrating your knowledge, and I mean, on the certificate it says superior knowledge right there. So uh, you're getting recognized, definitely. So the winner will have that on their certificate for all the world to see, wherever you choose to display your certificate. Okay. All right. Question number three. Question number three. What Frank Gehry designed building is home to the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra? Wow. What Frank Gehry designed building is home to the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra? The Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. Oh no, the arts. Yeah, yeah. These are tough. Walt Disney Share comes in with their first point of the game. She had 1 point the first game and now has tightened up the game significantly with her first correct answer in game number two. Yes, Walt Disney. Walt Disney, the Walt Disney Concert Hall, I guess is the full name of that. But Walt Disney. You're in California. That helps. Home court advantage, as we might say. Yes. It was something that I didn't know. In fact, this particular question didn't have choices given, so I was struggling to try and think of what kind of clue I could give. But it's beautiful. Oh, really? The Los Angeles Philharmonic. I have seen broadcasts from there, so the interior is quite nice. The acoustics seem to be superb. Yeah, so Walt Disney Company definitely has the money, so they must have done it right when they built that one. Excellent. Okay, so nice for the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, and nice for Share. She's now has 1 point. Abyss has two, and Takara is feeling the pressure, I'm sure. Okay, we'll get away from the arts now, though. So Takara, you can reassert yourself possibly here. We'll move on to question number four. The outside is really different. Oh, really? Okay, I'll have to later. I'll do a search on that to check that out. See what the Walt Disney Concert Hall looks like, the home to the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. All right. But back to the quiz. We've got question number four. Question number four. This one, I think you'll be able to guess. What country? Okay, we're looking for the name of a country. What country is north of the city of Detroit? What country is north of the city of Detroit? Okay, Canada. Yes, Abyss. Right. That was a speed typing test, I think. Not too much of a challenge to figure that one out. North. I mean, if we're having a U.S.A. quiz and we say north of, a country north of, it just about has to be Canada, doesn't it? Yeah. Not too many other choices. That is right. Um, Easy or hard, whatever the case may be, Abyss was the first with the correct answer and gets the point. Takara came in again with Canada as the correct answer, but a little behind Abyss. So Abyss is the one scoring that point. Okay. Another question. Name of a country. Here's a side quiz. Which Canadian city is closest to Detroit? Um, oh, I've heard this. I don't they also, or didn't they used to that city? You see, and you say you're not smart, but you know the answer. Uh, Somebody knows the answer. It's a city where I think was known for producing automobile parts. I think probably, maybe that's in my mind because of the close proximity to Detroit. It seemed like they built especially car engines for Ford Motor Company, maybe. Wasn't that city that's closest to Detroit? Um, City closest to Detroit. Well, I mean, no, I don't know. Uh, I can't remember the name of the city now. But it seems to me that there was a Canadian city in close proximity. Now, whether it was the closest or not, I can't recall. But a Canadian city in close proximity to Detroit that produced automobile parts, and I think possibly produced the engines for Ford Motor Company vehicles at one point. But okay, anybody have an answer? Anybody know the answer to Abyss's question? Canadian city closest to Detroit? Bell Island. Bell Island. What do we say to that? Abyss, is that right? That's not the city I was thinking of. Um, Bell Island is right on the border. I got nothing. Toronto is the only city I know. Toronto, yeah, Toronto, Ottawa, Chatham, Kent, if I'm not mistaken. But the largest city close to Detroit, I thought, was London. The largest city closest to Detroit, I thought, was London. Okay. It could be wrong, though. Yeah. Chatham, Kent. That seems like maybe. Is that a small city? Chatham, Kent? Um, that might be the one that was producing, where there was a factory, an automobile parts factory. No, yeah, you've got nothing. Yeah, me too. We're going too far back in my memory. This is like high school memories. I had a friend who was a serious Ford fan. He loved Ford cars and Windsor. Windsor, of course. Yeah, Windsor is the automobile parts manufacturer, and that's not the one closest to. No, Windsor. I'm sure that's it. Windsor is the automobile parts manufacturer, and yeah, that's my friend who was this Ford car fanatic. He loved Ford cars, Ford Mercury, um, and he was, he knew, which factory the engine was built in and so on. He was talking about the difference between the engine block of the one that came from this factory as opposed to another factory and so on. So, but that's a detail that I have not considered, that has not come to mind in literally tens of years now. So anyway, thanks for the trip down memory lane. Howard Teckaw was that fanatic's name. Yeah, so shout out to Howard wherever you are. If you watch this, how you doing? Don't be mad at me because I couldn't remember Windsor. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get back to the quiz after that little detour around Canada and Detroit there. Okay. Question number 5. Here we go. Question number 5. We're looking for the name of a country. Again, we're looking for the name of a country after Canada and Mexico, because they're right across the border. Okay, but after Canada and Mexico, what country is closest to the U.S.? What country is closest to the U.S.? Of course, Canada and Mexico are the two closest. Russia! That's right, Russia, Abyss, with another correct answer. And fast. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I mean, my first intuition would have been Cuba, right? I mean, Cuba is, you can almost see it from Florida, can't you? And it's just 80, 86 miles or something like that from Florida or something. People boat over and so on. Yeah, right next to Alaska. Exactly. That fact. If you look at a world map, if you look at the globe, yeah, better than the world map. If you look at a globe, it's quite obvious how close Russia is to Alaska and therefore the United States. Even closer than Cuba is to Florida. So good job, Abyss, right? You now have a significant lead, 4 points, 4 correct answers out of the first 5 questions. Share has the other point. Our other players are still waiting to get on the board, okay? All right, so let's see how this goes, okay? So question, okay, if you don't freeze to death, swim there, could swim there from Alaska, yeah, if you don't freeze to death, yeah. And that would be quite a freeze. I mean, swimming the English Channel, I remember that as a big thing. Swimming the English Channel, that's probably a shorter distance. Can't be too much shorter though, could it? Swimming from Great Britain to the European mainland, but yeah, I remember images of people greasing up and so on because of the cold water. I mean, the North Atlantic, that area, I guess it would be cold, but the Northern Pacific between Alaska and Russia, that's gonna really be cold, right? All right, let's go on. Carrying on, babbling. Let's see what kind of question we have. Probably about the same, maybe, could be. The English Channel is a lot shorter than it is between Alaska and Russia, I bet. Probably, yeah, distance-wise, yeah. Yeah, I have no scale in mind. I mean, my image is that, yeah, the English Channel, I mean, a channel as opposed to a strait, it sounds narrower. It's just a channel. But who knows? Somebody knows. Somebody that knows geography a lot better than I do would know that. Somebody that knows geography a little better than I do would probably know that. But anyway, let's go on. Let's go on to the next question. We're at question number 6 so far. Question number 6. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. I set up this question, but now, okay, all right. There's somebody that has won English Channel 4 times in a row. That has won English Channel 4 times in a row. Has swum the English Channel 4 times in a row? Wow. Okay, so that can't be that great of a distance. Well, they're an amazing swimmer. Okay, well, this is almost a gimme based on our recent conversation here, but how about this for a question? What is the name of the strait that separates Alaska and Siberia? Okay, what is the name of the strait? Maybe I even said it. I don't remember. But that's our question. Who can type it in the quickest? What is the name of the strait that separates Alaska and Russia, Siberia? Oh, what happened? Did I freeze? Did everybody else freeze? Is the lag really bad? No, the strait. This is something that Bering, that's right. Share comes up with her second point. Share comes up with her second point with the right answer. The first one to come up with the right answer. Share, Bering Strait. That's right. Absolutely right. So yes, the Bering Strait. That's what we were comparing the distance of the Bering Strait, the distance between Alaska and Russia. Am I late for this? No, you're not too late. You've got yeah, Tiara. Tiara, well, you're welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, we've completed one game. We're in the middle of our second game. We have Abyss, who has a commanding lead with 4 correct answers, and Share has 2. But there are 4. We're going to do this the same as the first game. Going to make it an 11-point quiz. Five questions remaining. Six questions have finished. 5 questions remaining. This is my new format, an 11-point quiz. Okay, reduces the chances of ties? Not necessarily. Oh well, it doesn't matter what or why or any kind of logic that I'm probably beyond me. But we have 5 questions left. So a good showing. Anyone can still walk away with the prize today. Okay, yes, welcome, Tiara. Okay, our next question. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to use a different question because based on things that we talked about earlier, I think that it might be confusing. So I'm going to trade that one out. I have more questions prepared, so we're in good shape yet. All right, so we need, okay, here we go. Question number 6, right? Question number 7. 7 out of 11. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we have 5 questions left. Okay. Wow. Okay, Share did the research for us. Just look in a book, 475 miles between England and Paris. England and Paris, London and Paris. Okay. Melbourne Dev. Okay. Welcome. Been lurking. Oh, there's somebody that has one English channel 4 times. Oh, that was your. Oh, sorry. I'm reading the comments, and the names are so small and kind of gray, so they don't contrast to the extent that the comments themselves do. I'm sorry. I missed out on who was writing some of these comments, and we've got the Melbourne here with us, which I should have been aware of beforehand. Sorry about that. I'm still not much of a professional when it comes to HAPS broadcasting, but I'm learning. Okay. We've got 5 questions left. Here is the next question. What UNESCO World Heritage Site? Oh, thank you. That's okay. Thank you. What UNESCO World Heritage Site? I have a lot of questions about UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Okay. What UNESCO World Heritage Site includes the Mauna Loa and Kilauea volcanoes? Okay. What UNESCO World Heritage Site includes the Mauna Loa and Kilauea volcanoes? Hawaii. Okay, I recognize you as the first one to say Hawaii, but can someone give me a more complete name of this site? The hint is it's the name of a park, and for example, it's not just Hawaii Park. It's 4 words, including Hawaii and park. Okay, so Hawaii something something park. Hile? No. Hawaii something something park is the full name. Okay. If nobody can come up with this, it's all 4 words are national park. Okay. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Oh, yes, that's right. Takara
Takara has come up with the complete answer. Takara, that's right. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is the actual name of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the name of the park. So, Hawaii, if I was asking for the name of the state, that was clearly the correct answer. But I was looking for the name of the site, which was the park. So, I'm going to have to give that to Takara, right? Although I put a star by uh, Share's name for getting Hawaii correct right off the bat. That was a pretty big hint, though. I mean, Mauna Loa and Kilauea. Yeah. Okay. Share can have the point. I'll give you each a point because Hawaii was the important major part of that. But then coming up with the full name of the park, I think, is worth a point. So give a point to each of you. So Abyss still in the lead with 4 points. Share with 3, and Takara comes up with a point. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Okay, this is a kind of a historical question. Here you have a smart person certificate. Okay. All right. So, question number, I guess this is question number 8. Question number 8. Remember, we're going to 11. Okay, so there's still time, still plenty of time. Question number 8. Which Indian tribe? Okay, so we're looking for the name of an Indian tribe or Native American tribe. Which Indian tribe language was used as a code for messages which was never cracked in the Pacific Theater during World War II? So a Native American language, a Native American tribal language. Apache. Good guess. That is not the answer. Good guess. Navajo. That's right. Navajo. Right. There was a movie not too long ago. Nicolas Cage. I think it was called The Windwalkers. Uh, I can call Michelle. Yes, you can call Michelle. She would probably be aware of that. But yeah, Navajo. The Navajo language is the one. And like I was saying, I think it was Nicolas Cage. I'm sure it was Nicolas Cage that was in a World War II movie called The Windwalkers about this very thing that these Native Americans who were quite vital. They were the code machines. They were basically America's version of the Enigma machine that Germany had to encode their messages. They had the Windwalkers, the Navajo tribesmen that were in the army for the sole purpose of transmitting coded messages by using the Navajo language, which linguistically was complex enough that it was expected that the Japanese would not be able, not having a database of the Navajo language, not being familiar with it, it was assumed that they wouldn't be able to crack that particular code. So they used the Navajo tribes people as their coding machines, coding and decoders. And in that movie, they had people that were actually assigned to them to keep them safe and to make sure that they did not fall into enemy hands, so that these Navajo tribe people would not fall into enemy hands and be tortured and forced to give up the secrets of their language, of the code, and so on. So yeah, it's a very interesting. Yeah, it is. It is a very, very good movie. So I guess Share has seen that movie also. Great. It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Duolingo has Navajo training. It's on my list. Wow, interesting. Navajo and Duolingo. Cool. Yeah. I mean, a little bit studied in linguistics. That was my master's degree is actually in linguistics. But that doesn't mean that I speak a lot of languages. It means that I have looked at the patterns within languages and seen similarities and patterns and changes through history and the way languages change and so on. Linguistics is fascinating. Linguistics to me is when you look at, regardless of determining the heritage, the etymology of a word, or how that word has changed, or where that word roots came from and so on, or how a language has changed throughout history. It's like looking at a puzzle. There are certain rules that we can expect to apply to a language as it changes and so on. Then trying to apply those rules kind of backwards to work back to where that word or that language and so on came from is really quite interesting. Yeah. I wonder if he came from Periscope. He's a linguist living in Japan. He scopes regularly and a good friend of mine. Okay. No, I did not come from Periscope. HAPS is my first platform for broadcasting. I started broadcasting. I started HAPS. I guess I should know. I think that today was my 38th consecutive day on HAPS, and I've gone online to get my 50 coins every day since I've joined HAPS. So I'm a newbie in a very real sense. I was not part of Periscope. Yeah, I hear a lot of talk about Periscope. It almost seems like a club within HAPS here, the former Periscope group within HAPS, which is fine. People have already established connections and community within Periscope, and that is transferred to HAPS, and that's a wonderful thing. I'm on CoinDay 96. Okay, so more than double, almost 3 times the amount of time that I've been here. Yeah, share. 96. Okay, yeah, I am just getting my feet wet. So that's why I'm so chaotic in everything that I do. I really don't know what I'm doing, right? But I'm learning. I figure the best way to learn is to do. Just throw myself in the deep end, so to speak, and see if I sink or swim, and we'll see how that works. But anyway, we have a good. It's on Periscope for 5 years. Wow, 5 years. You have get-togethers. Yeah, that's something that I plan to do again as my networking within the HAPS community expands and so on. I want to do that. Have conversations with people. Do more online interviewing and so on. And I'll plug my own broadcast here unabashedly. I have a colleague here in the same city, Kumamoto City. We do the layman's philosophy chat, and we label it layman's philosophy because it kind of, at least the conversation starts kind of philosophically with a philosophically based question, but it's really for laymen. So we don't use a lot of philosophical vocabulary, and we really relate it to our daily lives and so on. Whether it's talking about free will or whatever it is. So far, it's been mostly just my colleague and I, Jeff Morrow, and we're both English teachers, not philosophers. It's, like I said, layman's philosophy. I was at 50 days and I missed one day. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Now I can meet you if we travel to Japan. Yes, please come here. Right. Soon as the vaccination program is has been successful in taking care of the current pandemic. Yes, I'm looking forward to traveling. I'm looking forward to visitors also. The world tourist trade has taken a beating, we know, for the last year, almost year and a half now. But anyway, so what I was saying, mostly it's my friend and I that are chatting. We have had one person join our broadcast, participate, and I would be thrilled, excited, happy, enthusiastically welcome anyone who would like to join the Layman's Philosophy broadcast. We usually do that about this time, about the time I started this broadcast, so 11 o'clock my time. 11 o'clock my time on Wednesday on my time. So 11 o'clock in the morning on my time. So that would be probably, so that'd be what, about 2 o'clock 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, something like that. 3 o'clock in the afternoon in California. I'm not sure. Have to check that out. Anyway, this is way above Mensa. Top 1% society. Tops is above Mensa. I've heard of Mensa. Top 1% society. I mean, that's so far above my level that it's out of my league. Yeah. It's 2:25 p.m. in Melbourne, right? Yeah, it's 12:25 p.m. Here in Kumamoto. So 2 hours. Yeah, so Australia is 2 hours ahead of where we are, right? Never heard of either of the groups. Yeah, Mensa crops up every once in a while. Some Genius Society, and you can actually take online quizzes and so on. And I think basically they expect people to have an IQ of over 140 or something like that. The tops. Yeah, don't know anything about it. Yeah, I mean, basically IQ tests are very accurate in determining how well you do on IQ tests. Right, that's about all they can really guarantee. If you get a high IQ score, that tells you that you're good at taking IQ tests. All right, okay. All right, how about another question? What the heck? See how we're doing here. It's been so long. Let me refresh your memories on the scores. Abyss, 5 points in the lead. Share 3 points. Takata has 1 point. We still have questions 9, 10, and 11. So we still have 3 questions left. All right. Let's see. Well, now we get to write the IQ test. No. This is there's nothing set in stone with my broadcasts. I like to kind of go with the flow. That's why my first broadcast, we completed it successfully. The first game we completed successfully. There were enough people here that looked like they were still willing to put up with a few more of my questions, and so we decided to do 2 games in a row. So I try to be flexible, as I said. But back to the quiz. Conversation for another. Yeah, it is highly, very, culturally biased and so on. Exactly. All right, question number 9. Who wrote the epic poem, The Song of Hiawatha, in 1855? The Song of Hiawatha. Who wrote that poem? Wow. All right, do we have any lit majors in here? We've talked about linguistics in here, but this is not linguistics. This is literature. The Song of Hiawatha. The Song of Hiawatha. Longfellow. That's right. Longfellow will. Got an important phone call. Be right back. Okay. All right, people. That was Abyss. Abyss has the lead, but Longfellow share now is only 1 point behind with that, raising. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow is the complete answer. Longfellow, let's see. Longfellow. Okay, Longfellow actually ends with an O, like tomorrow. Longfellow. Yeah, but yes, that's right. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was the author of the poem, The Song of Hiawatha. I'm so happy that you came up with that answer because I was scrambling in my brain to find some legitimate distractors to try and offer you as choices, and I wasn't coming up with any. I was thinking who Henry David Thoreau or Wordsworth. I thought Wordsworth or Wadsworth. Maybe that would throw you off, but fortunately, I didn't have to come up with those choices because Share got me off the hook with the correct answer. Okay, so yes, Song of Hiawatha by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Good, good, good. Okay. All right, I've got another question. This one, question number 10. But that wouldn't be fair to Abyss, right? Maybe I can stretch this out a little bit here. So Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. What else did he write? Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He wrote lots and lots of stuff, I know. Writing style, critical response. A list of works. Hyperion. Okay. Evangeline, Kavanaugh, the Golden Legend poem, the Song of Hiawatha, of course, we just talked about. The New England Tragedies, the Divine Tragedy, Christus, a mystery, Aftermath, another poem, the Arrow and the Song poem. Okay. And I mean, they're just large numbers of works that he is the author of. Oh, he translated a couple of works. He translated Dante's Divine Comedy. Dante was written in Italian, right? And Coplas de Don Jorge Manrique, translation from Spanish. So this Longfellow, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, must have been comfortable in both Spanish and Italian. I'm sure Dante was Italian, right? I can remember at least that much. The one about the inn, the Tales of Wayside Inn. My ancestors owned the Wayside Inn. Wow. See, it's amazing the type of information that comes up in these quizzes. Most of it not from me either. You guys educate me more than I can hope to try and shed light on topics for you. Tales of a Wayside Inn in 1863. So interesting. Okay. Well, now I'm aware of that. Collection of poems by American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The book depicts a group of people at the Wayside Inn in Sudbury, Massachusetts. Sudbury, Sudbury, Sudbury. As each tells a story, as each tells a story in the form of a poem. Okay, interesting. I am not that familiar with Longfellow. Okay. How was the owner of the inn at the time and is mentioned in the poem? Okay. Interesting. Cool. Yeah. So a collection of poems, each one kind of a story about one of the people staying there. Very interesting. And one about the owner, I would imagine. That would make sense. Okay. Cool. Great. Okay. All right. Let me had to add distractor. I'm going to. Abbas, are you back yet? Abbas, are you back? Abbas, abyss. Stare into the abyss. Yeah. Nietzsche. Yeah. God is dead. We have killed him. God is dead and he remains dead and we have killed him. Something like that. Isn't that the famous quote by Nietzsche? I'm a layman philosopher, but I'm not that well read in a lot of the philosophers. That's okay. All right. Well, kind of running thin on my stretching it out here. How are we doing? Okay. Well, a Japanese word for the day. I had to learn Japanese. Okay. Japanese word for the day. All right. So rather than give you one that you think it is, okay, think it is the Nietzsche quote. Yeah. Okay. The excuse me. The Japanese word of the day. Not exactly a word, but more a short phrase that is commonly used. Rather than the common ones, for hello or goodbye and so on that you've probably heard before. One that is very important in the workplace in Japan is what I think I'll teach you. And I'm going to struggle with the translation because it's a phrase that represents a concept that is not easily expressed in English. Okay, so the Japanese phrase, excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. The Japanese phrase is "Otsukare sama deshita." Otsukare sama deshita. Otsukare sama deshita. Okay, I can try and write it. Otsukare sama deshita. Otsukare sama deshita. Break it up into 3 words there. Otsukare sama deshita. Otsukare sama deshita, as I said, is a very common word used around the workplace. Actually, either otsukare sama deshita or otsukare sama desu. The difference is whether it's in the present tense, talking about the present, or the past tense. And it's used as a type of recognition that the person you're saying that to is or has been working hard, right? So when you greet someone, for example, if I see an office worker or another professor in the hallway in my university, the first time I see them in the morning, I'll usually say "Ohayo gozaimasu," the good morning greeting. I'll usually greet them with "good morning," but later on, you're not going to repeatedly say "good morning, good morning, good morning," and yet, some kind of a greeting or something. If you want to do more than just the head bob or the bow, you use the phrase "Otsukare sama desu" or "Otsukare sama deshita." Okay, so if we're both still working, then I say "Otsukare sama desu." So that's "Otsukare sama desu." Otsukare sama desu. Right? So that recognizes the fact that that person is working, is engaged in work, is working hard for the company. When someone leaves, right? For example, if the most common example is in an office. Say it gets to be 5 o'clock and someone has finished their work and so they're going home, but perhaps other people have a little bit more to do. They need to tidy up a little bit or finish some things off before they go home. that first person to leave, would you use that for a student at all? You could, yeah, yeah. You could use that for a student, for example, if they've done an assignment, or perhaps when they turn in a test paper or something like that. Again, in recognition of the effort that they have put in on that assignment or that test and so on. Otsukare sama deshita. Oh, you worked hard on that and so on. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I don't say it very often to my students because mostly my students don't work that hard. No, but it's more prevalent in the workplace, but you will find it, referring to, addressed to students also. Probably in the school environment, more commonly, a student might say that to the teacher. For example, after the class, the teacher has given a lecture, and the students, as a way of, they might say thank you, or they might say, the otsukare sama deshita phrase to indicate that they recognize the effort that the teacher put into the lesson and so on. So when the person leaves the office, they're the first one to leave. To the people that are still working, they will say otsukare sama desu. You're still working, so otsukare sama desu. And the person that is leaving, the people that are still at work and are saying goodbye to the one leaving, they'll say otsukare sama deshita, means they're recognizing that your work is done for the day, but you put in a good effort today, right? So anyway, otsukare sama deshita, or otsukare sama desu, is the word for today. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, yeah, it took me a long time because generally they say it so fast that it took me a couple of years to really hear clearly what they were saying, and it was a little embarrassing to ask. But it's, like I said, it's very much part of the culture. I came to Japan really without speaking Japanese. I've learned Japanese just simply by living here, absorbing things simply from the surrounding environment, having so much Japanese being spoken, and by understanding the context, being able to pick it up. I did take one Japanese class for 2 months when I was still in America, before I'd even decided to come to Japan. I was interested in Japan, obviously, but I hadn't decided to come and work here yet. And I took a class for 2 months, one summer vacation. I had free time in my schedule. So I took a class, and basically I learned a handful of phrases and some of the, a couple of the syllabary writing systems. What made me decide to go there? I found a good job here. After I finished my degree, which was, again, my master's degree was in linguistics, but it was focusing on teaching English as a second language. My first choice was to go and teach in Spain because I'd studied Spanish in high school and the first year of university. So I had the basics of Spanish, and I liked Spain. I visited Spain, but the British have a pretty firm lock on most of the really good and most of the permanent full-time jobs in Spain, simply because they're part of the Union, they're part of Europe, and because of visa considerations and so on, as well as the logistics of getting back and forth and so on. Most of the jobs go to the Brits as far as teaching English in European countries. So I wasn't offered the full-time, the full-time job as an English teacher at a university that I was looking for when I applied in Spain. So I looked elsewhere. South America was interesting because of Spanish, but a little too familiar. too nearby. I really wanted to. I decided if I wasn't going to go to Spain, I was going to try and expand my horizons and push myself and learn about a culture that I really didn't know anything about. So that's why Africa, Asia. Well, I felt more comfortable in Asia, I guess. And in Asia, I found a few jobs, but what I judged to be the best opportunity was the one in Japan. I only stayed at that job for 2 years, and then I found another job that basically I've been at for the last 30 years. So I guess I made a pretty good decision. My initial idea was to come here to Japan for a couple of years, learn the language, learn the culture, and move on. But after 2 years, I realized that there is no way in the world that I'm going to have anything like a knowledge of Japanese language or culture after 2 years. It was just without, in 2 years, if I had devoted myself to learning the language and the culture, and that was my full time, what occupied the bulk of my time for 2 years, yes, but I was teaching, working full time while I was trying to learn the language and the culture, and I realized it was going to take me a lot longer if that was the way I was going about it. But then by the time I was familiar familiar enough with the language and the culture that I felt like, okay, I could move on. I'd already kind of gotten stuck here, feeling so comfortable that I became unwilling to make a change and go someplace else. Yeah. Okay, well, that's my own little personal history there. I do love Japan. It's a great place. I feel my first 2 years, again, as I said, I wasn't all that familiar with Japanese language or culture. When I went back to the States, I was going home to the States. But after about the third or fourth year, when I went back to the States to visit my family, my parents back in the States, I basically felt like I was visiting the States and I came back home to Japan. So after about the fourth year, after about 4 years of living in Japan, Japan really became my home. And I felt like almost like a foreigner, somebody that was frankly, a little bit uncomfortable in American culture. Japan, they do things so differently, but once you've become acclimated to the Japanese style, the Japanese culture, the way that they do things, it begins to feel right. And going back to the States started to feel kind of wrong to me. I mean, I could remember, what it was like to live there, but yeah. Are there many expats in Japan? Quite a few, yeah, quite a few. Quite a few expats here. So the office at this university, the office next to me is another American who's also tenured, has a tenured job as I do at this university. And most of my close friends are Americans now. For years, I more or less avoided spending a lot of time with Americans because I wanted to become as familiar as possible with Japanese language and culture. And I felt that if I spent too much time among my American friends, that I wouldn't be acquiring the language and the culture as deeply and as quickly as if I avoided the Americans. So for several years, although there is an abundance of Americans here, and not only Americans, but also other, Brits and Aussies and Kiwis and so on. Canadians, yes, there are a few Canucks here. A good friend of mine who's just received a tenured post at another university from Winnipeg, David from Winnipeg. I know him well. So yes, there are a large number, even in this relatively smaller city. Kumamoto is about 700,000 people, I think. The city itself, the prefecture, which is whatever the administrative area that it's referred to as a prefecture, has over 1 million people. So compared to the major metropolitan areas like Tokyo, Osaka, Kobe, Kyoto, places like that, it's relatively small. Yeah, but there are a lot of expats here, and there are a lot of foreigners. Although, if you go to Tokyo, ride the subways and so on, you see a lot of foreigners. Here you see them, but you don't feel like there are a lot. It's not uncommon to see them, but we are clearly in the minority here, which is fine with me. I mean, I didn't come and choose to live in Japan to be surrounded by Americans all the time. If I wanted to be surrounded by Americans all the time, I'd go back to America, right? But it's nice. It's nice. It is nice to the fellowship that I have with my colleagues and the other Americans and the Brits and the Canadians and so on. It's very valuable. Now I can do both. Enjoy life in Japan and America. Yeah, but I never go back to America anymore. I never go back to America. Like I said, I don't feel at home in America anymore. After living 30 years in Japan, I don't feel really comfortable in my own country anymore. I'll be around Japanese and other expats. Yeah, around Japanese and yes, exactly. Yeah, that's nice. Some of my dearest friends are Japanese. My wife, actually, I was married to a Japanese woman, but that didn't work out. As much as I love Japan and Japanese culture, that aspect of it didn't work out for me. But I've remarried, and my wife now is a Filipina, and so we both came to Japan. We've been here for many years. I've been here for over 30. She's been here for more than 20 years, and we both enjoy Japan. But then again, we go to the Philippines now as often as we can. That's where her family is, and although winters here are not so bad, Mayambuta. Oh, okay, all right. Cebuano, all right. I don't know much Cebuano. I'm trying to learn Waray. My wife's family lives in eastern Leyte, and so they speak Waray in that part of the country. Waray, I guess, is the oldest forms, the purest forms of Waray are from Samar, the island next to Leyte. But the island of Leyte is kind of divided between the Waray speakers, influenced from the language of that's native to Samar, and Cebuano, which of course from Cebu. So different villages and towns in different parts of the island of Leyte speak different languages, actually. And they're not mutually intelligible. The people are, because they're in such close proximity in the way that, French understand German to a certain extent. Germans, they, simply by proximity, they're aware. Still here. Did we run everybody? Still here. Okay. All right. Well, we've got two people here. And we still got two questions. Wait, 2 questions? At least 2 questions. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, let's get back to the quiz. If Abyss is not coming back, well, still could win. Still could win. Abyss has 5 points, Share 4, and Takara 1. So let's see how this plays out. Okay. Then we can talk some more afterwards. Okay. In what state is Pueblo de Taos? Pueblo de Taos. In what state is Pueblo de Taos? Okay. Pueblo de Taos. Now that should be a hint. Texas is not the right answer. So Texas is one of the distractors I was going to give you. Is it Oklahoma or New Mexico? It's not Oklahoma. New Mexico. That's right. Share wins by brute force. Share just pounding out all the answers. Share it's not finished yet. No, it's New Mexico. New Mexico is the answer. That's right. Yes. Forget knowledge, brute force, just fast typing, fast fingers is going to win the game. Share gets the point with coming up with the correct answer just before Takara. All right, even though Takara, put all her eggs in one basket and came up with New Mexico as her sole answer, Share took kind of the brute force, the shotgun approach, and said, well, okay, if it's not Texas, it's not Oklahoma, it must be New Mexico, right? Or maybe Colorado. Yeah. Anyway, the correct answer, yes, is New Mexico. And of course, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? The Pueblo de Taos. Taos, New Mexico? Oh, Taos, New Mexico. I think I've heard of that. That sounds familiar. Taos, New Mexico. Pueblo de Taos. Well, Pueblo just means village or town, right? So the town of Taos, New Mexico. It's a World Heritage Site. Okay. Did not know that. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Okay. All right. The next question I had is too much overlap, so I'm going to go to a different question. Okay. All right. With this share, you can win. If Takata comes up with this, we'll have to have another tiebreaker, because right now Abyss and share are tied, 5 points each, and Takata won. But we need to have a clear, undisputed winner. If Takata gets the next question, we'll have another question, and if she gets that one, we'll have right until there's only one person that has the most points. Right now, Abyss and share are tied up. So Takata, you still have a chance to win. You're a little bit behind now. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to come up with all the correct answers, the first answers. All right. It'll be tough, but let's see what you can do. All right. Here's a good question. I like this question. The name of a state. Okay. What state borders on 4 of the 5 Great Lakes? Great Lakes. 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. This one state borders 4 of the Michigan. Takata. Quick out of the box with that answer. Yes, share came up with the correct answer also, but Takata was first. We've got a contest going now. Still has her lead with 5 points, tied with the Abyss, so it's still a tie game, which means we still need more questions. She's a fast typer. When she knows, she's a speed typist. She can in a hurry. All right, so as I said, we've got a good contest going here. If Abyss comes back, he could win it with one question. Share can still win it with one question, but as long as Takara keeps cranking out those correct answers and fast, we've got a contest going. All right. How about this? For this, I will accept the acronym, the abbreviation, right? I will accept the abbreviation. So this is something that can be abbreviated, okay? What is the largest collegiate athletic organization in the world, headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana? Okay, so collegiate, so a college athletic organization. Okay, that sounds difficult, but if you think about athletic organizations and what that might mean, MLB, no. Major League Baseball, no. That's professional. We're looking for collegiate, college. PSAL, no. No, it's not PSAL. I don't even know what that is an acronym for, but doesn't matter. That's not. Um, oh, this is bad because I don't know how to give you. I don't know what kind of distractors I can give you with this. What kind of distractors could I give you for this? Let's see. How about that's not what I was looking for. NCAA. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the answer is the NCAA, right? Yeah. Actually, I'm not a big sports fan, but I much prefer college sports to professional sports. I feel like, in the college, at the college level, um, oh, what is that? What is it? The the National Collegiate Athletic Association. National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA. Yeah, NCAA. You like baseball? Yeah, okay, baseball. I used to be a big baseball fan. Yeah, National Collegiate Athletic Association. That's exactly right. Used to be a big baseball fan. Let's see, when I was in junior high school, the Oakland Athletics. That was the time when the Oakland Athletic, Reggie Jackson was hitting home runs for them, and Catfish Hunter was pitching for them. That's years and years ago. I was a big fan then, but since that era, uh, my problem with sports has been just PSAL is for the public schools. Okay, all right. Not familiar with that. But as I was saying, my problem with um, professional athletics is professional sports is that the salaries are just, I think, too high. I mean, I understand free enterprise, the capitalism, the things go at the market price and they can demand that price. And so they get paid that much, but just doesn't seem quite right to me. I think that's basically the case for most of the top tier athletes, the top tier entertainers, the top the top tier movie stars. Yeah, salaries are ridiculous. Yeah, I think that all of the top tier of the entertainment, and I view athletics as entertainment, because we just sit there and watch them, right? So we're being entertained. I just have a problem with the outrageous salaries that these people. But on that, what should not get my gibberish here is the fact that share is the one to come up with the correct answer, right? Share was the one to type in NCAA, or sometimes referred to as NCAA. I can watch baseball or NASCAR. Those are my favorite. Yeah, yeah. I used to watch. I used to watch baseball, basketball. I was never a really big basketball fan. Then I started watching college basketball, and they're not. It's a whole different game with them. Yeah. So yes, share is the winner. Share is the winner. I will be sending you your certificate of recognition, certificate of recognition of your superior knowledge when it comes to the United States. Okay, so we've got two winners today. Takara, you will receive your certificate for the first game today, and share for the second. Okay, excellent. Let's see. I'm inviting you both, since you are still here, I'm inviting you both, if either of you or both of you would like to join me for a chat about whatever, be it the United States, Japan, the quiz, or anything. Either of you or both of you are welcome to uh, climb on board the peace train. But yeah, once again, this is the certificate that will have your winners' names, right? Takata, your name, and uh, share your name placed into that. Yes, okay. And will be delivered to you as an attachment to an email in a PDF file. Okay. What site do you do the philosophy talks at? Need to go to bed. Takara needs to go to bed. The philosophy talks, we do it right here on my channel. We do it as usually a two-person conversation. I guess I could get on and talk by myself, but I kind of ramble too much, and I don't feel that I'm nearly as interesting as having as having a conversation with someone. So I would rather have someone to talk with about philosophical ideas. Okay. Whoops. Let me jot that down very quickly here. Okay, all right. I've got your email address now. You might want to delete that. You might want to delete your comment now, so that if there are any people with less than pure motives that watch this later, and yes, okay, good. That's what's great about this app. You can have up to 8 people on camera at a time and have a conversation like a better Zoom. Yes, exactly. Yeah. The thing that I'm hoping that they'll work on here, there are workarounds, but I wish that you were able to have multiple cameras, easily have multiple cameras from one broadcaster. There are people, for example, people that do their artwork. They try to position the camera, and either you can see them looking in the camera talking, or you can see them working on their art. Yes, you can, but it's kind of a workaround, by doing that, using present and presenting another application window. For example, if you're using Macintosh, running an external, a secondary webcam through QuickTime and so on. Yes, I understand that, but that's a little bit of a clunky workaround, in my opinion. Most of, or again, I'm no broadcasting expert, but other broadcasters that I've seen on other platforms, more developed platforms. Again, I understand HAPS is still beta, but other platforms allow people to have multiple cameras as built right into it, and you can, as easily as I switch between the different pictures and so on, or have more of them on. You can do that with this. Present. You have to kind of set that up, and once you click off of that, I couldn't have, for example, 3 different cameras and easily switch back and forth. I think they're using their phone for one camera and another camera on their iPad or something. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm not sure how the iOS works with that. You've never broadcast. Well, you should definitely broadcast. I mean, why not? It's Oh yeah, thank you, Takara. Thank you. I will be sending your certificate to you. Have a pleasant good night and restful sleep, and I'll see you again next time. Okay. Yeah, there are workarounds for using the multiple cameras and so on, and with Macintosh and especially iPhones and so on, they work very well. You get a good quality picture using the iPhone as a secondary camera, or an iPad for that matter, with the secondary camera. The iPhone camera is much better than the built-in camera in the Macintosh, whether it's the desktop Macintosh or a Macintosh laptop. The cameras that they have built in for their FaceTime or whatever. You're right. Yeah, I've caught a couple of those, and I asked them about that, and they did. So that's where I learned about that workaround of using, for example, an iPhone or another external webcam. For example, a USB webcam. Yeah, yeah. So exactly. Yeah, I can talk to the broadcasters to find out what they are using. Yeah. But again, the workaround is limited. What I would like is to be able to, for example, have one camera on me. Of course, I'd like my viewers to be able to see my face. I might have some printed matter or something like that, or not necessarily printed matter, an application, for example, an Excel spreadsheet with some data or some information and so on that I could have, and do that through the present, but then have another camera. For example, if I had a guest who was live in my office, to have a camera on them. Yeah, I could have them use their own phone, I guess, and bring them into the broadcast that way. But if they're here in the office with me, it would be nice to be able to have a camera on them and a camera on me and so on. I guess maybe I'm just expecting too much. And like, as I've said before, I'm really new to this, but as I was exploring the different possibilities, I looked at the OBS Studio. I don't know if you're familiar with that. OBS, I think, stands for Open Broadcasting Studio or Open Broadcasting System or something like that. So if you go to Pianoman 50 site on here. He does the camera on himself while we solve the New York Times in 5 minutes. One camera on him and one on the puzzle. Right. Yeah. 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 That you can do. Yes, that you can do. But if he wanted to switch between, yeah, two different, so for example, the New York Times, camera. And so, for example, what I would like to do sometimes is be able to seamlessly go from, for example, a question that I have in my quiz, and then have already previously looked up some relevant information to that question. As we did today, we looked up some different things, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and time zones and things like that. If there were, more, an easier way to switch through those, the present, you can't have more than one of those set up at a time is the limitation that I'm talking about. If you have present set up as a web page, then you can't have it set up as another camera. You can switch it to that other camera, but then there's that distraction of making that slightly involved change, from presenting an application window from your desktop, switching that to a camera. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So there, but it's 99%. I'm sure that I'm in the majority or the minority. I'm sure that I'm in the minority of people that even think about that. I've just thought about scenarios where I'd like to be able to do that, and as you said, there are workarounds. One of the things that I've thought about is when you present, you can choose to either share an application. Little field tips, but I believe that's on the same camera. Okay, yeah. When you present, you can share either the application window, or you can share the entire screen. For example, the entire computer screen. Now, if you have two screens, right, two computer monitors hooked up to one computer, you can selectively choose which computer monitor you share in the present. And so a possibility would be to drag different windows, different applications. One could be QuickTime connected to the camera. One could be a web browser connected to the additional information that you searched for, and so on, and just drag those to that window because it's the window, or drag those to that monitor because it's that monitor that is being shared. And so there is that kind of workaround, and that's what I need to be happy with if when I want to do those things right now. But I'm hoping that in the future, years down the road, probably when HAPS is matured and has millions of broadcasters and things like that, that maybe that'll be something that'll be included. He does a show where one is in New York and one in Utah and have 3 or 4 windows open. He makes others directors, right? Yeah. If you make others directors, there's lots of things you can do with that. Yeah. Good feedback there. Thank you. Those are things that I need to play around with more. Like I said, I'm 38, 39 days into my broadcasting life. So I'm not a newbie, I'm a newborn. I'm very, very new at this. And, I have certain ideas about, hey, maybe I could do that. And some of those ideas are maybe unreasonable. Most of them are unnecessary. Yeah. Beardo and Weirdo show, or BC48. Great stuff. Yeah. I've seen that Beardo and Weirdo. I guess I'll have to go back. I was looking to try and get in on one of their live broadcasts, and so far my timing has been off. Either I was involved in, either broadcasting or watching someone else's broadcast when they were on and I didn't notice or something. But yeah, fortunately, we can always go back and watch the pre-recorded prior broadcasts. Beautiful aspect of this. I love the fact that, the studio is so easy to use. It's available both through the browser window as well as the iOS app. And the interface is so easy to use. It's so flexible. You can do pre-recorded videos, include those in your broadcast and so on. Piano Man 50 is weirdo and BC 48 is beardo. One is a Mormon, the other is a classical pianist. Personalities just don't go together, so it gets really funny. I can imagine a Mormon and a classical pianist. Okay, interesting. Weirdo and beardo. Okay. All right, I will definitely give them a look. Yeah. Always, yeah. That's another nice thing. I mean, I unashamedly, borrow ideas, steal ideas, whatever, from other people. Not to steal them just like that, but steal them and then hopefully adapt them to a certain extent to make them my own. What time? Oh, it's already 20 after 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I have some things to do in a little bit. Let's see. And every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we solve the New York Times crossword. Very fun if you like words. Yes, I like words. I find words to be extremely useful and interesting. Yeah, as a linguist, yeah, I mean, I love words. I love everything about words, sometimes not the spelling. As much of an English teacher and linguist as I am, my spelling is not flawless. But anyway, that's my problem. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Yes, you too. Enjoy your day. I look forward to the next time you show Takara, Abyss, and Stephen and the others. Give them a good contest, right? I will send off your certificate as soon as possible. Okay, thanks again and have a nice day or night, I guess it is. Bye-bye.